Welcome back, my fully armed friends. I'd start walking your way, you start walking mine. We meet in the middle, 'neath that old Georgia pine. Don't act like you don't know it. Everybody knows it. Meet in the middle, Diamond Rio. What a song. What an album. What a band. So why am I singing that and talking about that today? It's because today's guest is Dana Williams. He's an original member of the band Diamond Rio, still out there rocking it today. Been playing bass with them for over 30 years. And we had a great conversation. We learn a lot of interesting stories about Diamond Rio, and we learn a lot of about his faith and his testimony, and about prayers that were answered that he prayed at a young age. So check out this episode and learn where the song title Norma Jean Riley came from. Check it out. This episode of Fully Armed with Dana Williams. If you like it, share it with your friends. Make sure you click the subscribe button and go check out our Patreon page. We'll see you on the backside. Dana Williams is on Fully Armed.
Welcome to the Fully Armed Podcast with Chris Hennessy. You got your armor on?
Sir,
I am extra good, man. Thank you for having me here in the.
This is Miss Judy.
This is Miss Judy.
Miss Judy.
I saw the license plate, Miss Judy. I wonder what. So
yeah.
So it's good. I'm not riding in Judy, but I'm sitting in Judy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Miss Judy, as my, people that watch or listen to the show know that I purchased this thing from Judy back couple years. Well, last year. And so we were like, well, we got to name it something. And we were like, well, she's such a sweet lady. We're going to call it Judy. So here we are. So a little bit of research. Of course, I've known about you for years and years now, but you were born in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Yeah.
But you didn't stay there long.
Well, I stayed there till, what was it? I think I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
And my daddy was at the time, they called him, he made plates or a stereotyper for a company called McCall's Printing Company,
mm-hmm.
which had McCall's patterns, sewing patterns, and McCall's magazines, and they printed all kind of magazines like Reader's Digest, and they did all these magazines, and he was the guy that made the plates that, probably talking way under people's heads because it's so long ago, but he made the plates that they printed from. Well, as time went on, computers caught up, and all of a sudden a plate maker, stereotyper ain't necessary no more.
Yeah.
Computer did it. So they kind of started laying guys off.
Yeah.
And we were, when he was laid off, we came to Nashville, which my uncles lived here in town.
Yeah.
And we came here to visit, and there's a lake here, and we were big boaters, and so we wanted to check this lake out and all that good stuff. And while he was here, he called down to the Tennessean, which is the paper here in town, in Nashville. And they said, hey, man, can you come to work on Monday? And so he loaded up the camper and headed back to Ohio. And my mother and us two kids started packing the house up. And Daddy came back and lived in my uncle's driveway in the camper. And he took the job at the Tennessean. And that's what moved us to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he wasn't here, I bet, a year, and here come computers, just like it
chasing him,
like it came from the north, and just started coming down. And he wasn't here a year, and computers took this job.
Yeah.
So it just pretty well run him out of the business. But so he went on into insurance and different things.
Right.
But that's what brought us to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I got here with my cousin, and he was deep into playing music and all that good stuff, and one thing's another, and all of a sudden me and you are sitting here.
Well, I've got to ask you this too. You're talking about your uncles, right? And there's some water for you too. If you want. You're talking about your uncles live down here.
Yeah.
Now, did I just read this and it was erroneous? Or are you're related to the Osborne brothers?
Yeah, Bobby and Sonny, the Osborne brothers, which
Right.
is the ones that's known for Rocky Top.
There you go.
And Rocky Top came out Christmas Day of 1967.
How about that?
And it was actually Felice and Boudleaux Bryant,
Yeah.
which lived here in Hendersonville at one time.
I don't think I knew that.
Wrote that song for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they wrote the song with the Osborne brothers in
Bobby
mind.
and Sonny in mind. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
So what a legendary song that has become.
Man,
I mean,
I'm telling you.
Tennessee State song.
Yeah.
It's of course the Tennessee Vols.
Right.
It's their song. I mean, that song it took Bobby and Sonny to the White House. I mean, they played there. They've been just all over the world. Mm-hmm. So what an unbelievable song.
A matter of fact, the first time I ever played at the Ryman for the Opry with Jamie, they were there. And it was, I got my picture made, such a thrill, man.
Yeah. So, that's all I had known as a kid, and how I'm related is my mother is their sister.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we listened to them all while I was a kid.
Yeah.
We'd listen to the Opry. They became Opry members in 1964.
Yeah.
And so we'd listen to them. Even in Ohio, we listened to 650 WSM.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
Just really, and then once we moved here, we would go to the Opry and all that kind of stuff on the weekends all the time when they were there, of course, and just kind of grew up with that. And my cousin, which was Bobby's son, was heavy into playing music and all kind of instruments, and ended up being an unbelievable banjo player. And so that really dug me in, and I started doing it. And I remember my first song to ever play on the bass was The Ballad of $40, an old Tom T. Hall song that Bobby and Sonny recorded. And I remember learning that for the first time and thinking, oh, my goodness, I'm in, baby.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, did you ever mess around with the dog house, or were you always
Never
electric?
did. You know what? Never had one.
Yeah.
Around the house.
Mm-hmm.
My daddy went and bought I remember he paid $50 to an old boy for an old Palmer bass, which I still have, I might say.
Yeah.
But he that was around the house, and it's an old saying that you got kids and you don't know whether they want to play music or not. I'm sure you're very aware of this.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is just leave instruments sitting around.
That's exactly right.
Because they'll figure it out.
Yeah. We got a piano at the house, and every once in a while I'll be in the bedroom and I'll hear it kind of
there you go,
dinking around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if they and I've got some guitars sitting around too. Some of them I'd assume they not touch.
Yeah. That I always had one of those because my mother, back when Bobby and Sonny they were very young.
Yeah.
The three of them was the Osbornes, and even up till they were in their 20s, the three of them was still playing. And so Mother bought a D28 Martin back then, which I have. And when my son was born, everything was fine till he got up around 2-3 years old. And I took that guitar and I put that baby up for several years because, the thing is, if something happens, you can apologize, you can be sorry, you can cry, you can do whatever. Your guitar is still screwed up.
It's still screwed up.
Either way. So you know what? Put that baby away till they get older. And
those necks have a lot of strain on them in the first place. They're just
already
waiting to break.
And that bridge and all that stuff. So, I just put it up, and I'm sure it wasn't healthy for it as far as being locked in a case for a long time, but it's been out now for a lot of years.
Man, and that's a good piece of wood right there.
Oh,
man.
boy, it's just hanging there on the wall, man, just waiting for somebody that knows what to do with it.
Yeah. Now you play guitar.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I chord on one, that type of thing. But my thing was I started out playing drums and bass. That was my two.
Mm-hmm.
And professionally, my first job was drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Ronnie Tutt, Elvis Presley's drummers.
Yeah.
I was just nuts for that guy, man. And unfortunately, we lost him a year or so ago. But that's what I wanted to be, man. I was going to be Elvis's drummer. That's just all there was to it.
Right.
And after I got my first job and carrying around all these drums and everything, I'm kind of tired of carrying all this around.
Yes, sir.
This is getting old quick.
I tell you, I tell my boys all the time. We talk about instruments and
play harmonica.
Because I learned how to play harp, and I carry this little case around.
Yeah, buddy.
So you're talking about going and seeing them at the Opry. So in the day when you were seeing them at the Opry, were you at the new Opry House over by Opryland?
Well, it started out in the years it was all the Ryman.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it was a Ryman at that time that doesn't look anything like the Ryman of today.
I wonder about that. I've seen pictures, but it's like they've done a lot of work to it.
Yeah, man. The seats, especially in that balcony, they used to go all the way around, and if you got on the side, which was where we usually sat, I might add, but when you got around on the side, you look right down into the dressing rooms and into the hallway, the backstage, and everything. I mean, my cousin and I used to throw popcorn down.
That's awesome.
Down, and they're trying to go from, and there was very few dressing rooms.
Yeah,
there isn't a whole lot of them now.
Not now, yeah.
But they developed the upstairs and all that, put dressing rooms up there, which nobody wants to go to.
No, they put elevators, but still.
Finally, yeah. But back then, there was just dressing rooms. Really, were just kind of looked like kind of storage closets that were just big and places to set guitars and stuff, and everybody and their brother was all just gathered in there.
Yeah.
And, who's next?
Just standing over in the crowd waiting to go out
there.
Yeah,
you just kind of and, we'd sit over and throw popcorn down on them, stuff like that, because it was just all wide open.
Yeah.
And then when they went in there and somebody spent a lot of money on that place and created that whole backstage, and they blocked all that off and really made it look like a venue, you know. Before, it literally looked like a church.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it still has remnants of that.
Yeah, it does. But boy, it was really.
Yeah, and it's funny. I just saw videos recently of there's like heavy metal concerts in there and rappers and all kinds of. It's all over the place.
Oh man, it's all over the map.
It really is in there, but it stays full. There's somebody in there all the time.
Yeah, there is.
But so then that means that we're dating back to where. Now we're getting into my childhood because I remember going to Opryland when I was a kid and riding the Grizzly River Rampage and all that stuff.
Flume Zoom.
Yeah. So,
Tin Lizzy.
And that will all kind of incorporate back into what we're talking about because from what I've understood, that's where the Tennessee River Boys got to
Tennessee River
right?
Boys, it's an interesting little story there, really, to me anyway. I was in, back in my day, we had elementary school, junior high school, and high school, which junior high school then was 7 through 9 grades, which now we've got middle school, which is, 6 through 8, and high school is 9 through 12. Well, back then, junior high was 7, 8, 9, and then you went to high school, which was 10, 11, 12. Well, when I was in junior high school, I was in the band, And my band teacher was a guy named Al DeLeonibus, which was a fabulous musician, jazz player, the whole thing, man. Just a really, him and I became friends. And after I got out of high school, we became close friends, and we would gig together and all this kind of stuff. But back then, he was he worked Opryland during the summers.
Mm-hmm.
When he was out of school, he'd work Opryland. And he got involved. He got put in this band called the Tennessee River Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in Opryland in those days, there was music all over the park.
All over the place.
Right.
And you kind of got appointed.
Right.
You know, if you were an employee out there, okay, well, we need you here. We need you here. Well, he got put in the Tennessee River Boys, which was at the time, they called it the Flip Side Theater. And they had country on one side, and the back side there was a rock show and all that good stuff. So he got put in this band to play for the Tennessee River Boys, which at that time was a bass player by the name of Matt Davenport and rhythm guitar player and lead singer named Danny Gregg, which was Paul Gregg, brother Paul Gregg from Restless Heart.
Okay,
the bass player.
Right.
His brother, and another guy that was a lead singer by the name of Ty Herndon.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the Tennessee River Boys, and they did 5 shows a day and 5 probably 22-minute shows a day or whatever it was. And so Ty Herndon, now this was, I'm not talking about back when I was in school. I'm talking about later on.
Right,
but, Ty Herndon went off to do, there was this talent show called Star Search.
Yeah.
Hosted by Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon
from The Tonight Show.
Yes.
And so he went off and did that and came in second, I think.
Uh-huh.
Well, that kind of jump-started a solo career and all this good stuff. So he left the park. When he left the park, they assigned somebody else to be in the Tennessee River Boys, which was another fellow that was working in another show, and his name was Marty Rowe.
Okay.
And he came in to the Tennessee River Boys. And my buddy Al DeLeonibus still playing piano during the summers. And so they decide that, hey, man, we want to do a career, have a career outside of this park. And a career ain't going to happen as long as you're an amusement park.
5 days a week, 20 minutes a day.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Record labels aren't going to look at you, the whole thing. Right. So we got to get out of this park. So they leave the park. Well, when they do, band members start falling out.
Yeah.
Al DeLeonibus, he fell out. Hey, man, I ain't going on the road, you know. I'm an old guy. I'm a band teacher.
Yeah.
Well, he fell out. The steel player fell out. Well, at this time, when they did this, the band consisted of Dan Truman on piano, Jimmy Olander on guitar, which was all park employees, and they had another drummer. I think it was Ed Mummert was in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, whoever it was, guys started falling out because of the security of that park, that salary.
Yeah, you go home every night.
Yeah, go home every night. Guys got kids, whatever. So they fall out. Well, they got to find other guys. Well, as they find other guys, okay, we need a drummer. They audition guys, and in comes a guy named Brian Prout, you know. And then Danny Gregg, the singer, he's the lead singer, everything. Man, I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to bail. I think, I forget what all he went into. Anyway, he left. So they auditioned somebody, and in comes a fellow by the name of Gene Johnson.
Yeah.
Well, he's a tenor singer, but they got him to sing baritone. But, or no, that ain't how. No, they needed a tenor singer. So anyway, they got Gene in there.
Yeah.
And Matt, the bass player, had turned into the lead singer. And so they go into the studio, and that's who it is. So 6 guys.
Right.
Sorry.
No problem.
Dan, Brian, Gene, Marty, Jimmy, and Matt.
Uh-huh.
And they go into the studio with Keith Stegall. He takes them in and records. Well, Matt being the bass player, he's got to go in and play bass, and they need somebody to sing a scratch vocal. A vocal while they're recording the track, they need somebody to, just kind of...
Right. Yeah, and not have the vocal mic in the room with all the guys cutting, right, tracking, yeah.
So Marty wasn't playing anything.
Yeah.
So they said, Marty, why don't you sing a scratch vocal? Okay. So they record the song and everything, and Keith Stegall calls him in. Says, hey, man, sounds great and all that good stuff, but this is your lead singer right here.
Yeah.
Matt, I mean, you sound great and all, but this is the lead singer for the band.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to go with. So they did, and they recorded with Marty being the lead singer.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't last long, and Matt said, I just got other things to do. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
And so he left, auditions, in comes Dana Williams.
Ah.
And I came in 89,
mm-hmm.
and in summer of 90, I took the job. I was working with, at the time I was delivering flowers and doing the Opry with Jeannie Pruitt and and doing club gigs around town here, all this kind of stuff. I had been with different ones, Cal Smith and Jimmy C. Newman, and just playing around town the whole bit. And I knew Jimmy Olander from back when he was playing with the Tennessee River Boys, and I was with Jimmy C. Newman at the Opry.
Yeah.
We would run into one another and all that kind of stuff. Well, Jimmy called me and he said, hey, man, we're looking for a bass player and singer. So I went and auditioned, got the gig, and I wanted the gig because they were going to do this TV show called Nashville Now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd never done it. And I wanted to do that TV show.
It was a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I took the gig and we did that, and they didn't really have anything going on. We did what they called community concert tour, 2 of those a year, and they go around and play, did about 30 gigs each tour, and it was just going from one little small town community, and you play because people buy a membership to have here's a celloist, and here's a pianist, and here's a quartet, and here's a country band, and here's and you just buy a subscription.
Right, yeah.
So we did that. But then we got hung up with Marty had a college buddy that was his roommate. His name was Monty Powell.
Oh, yeah, songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Monty Powell was fishing buddies with a guy in town. His name was Tim Dubois, and they go fishing all the time. And Tim had just got offered a job. Clive Davis from New York had said that once I make $100 million with my label, Arista Records in New York, which was home of Dionne Warwick and Barry Manilow and Whitney Houston and all that. Once I make this much money, whatever it was, I'm going to open a country label.
Yeah.
So the time had come, and Tim Dubois got offered the job to head up this brand new label in Nashville called Arista Records.
Mm-hmm.
And Monty, being a fishing buddy, they were on the boat together. He said, hey, man, I know this band that that you need to hear.
Because he's going to start building a roster at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He was already looking at a guy out of Georgia, the name of Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
He was looking at him, and he had his eye on 2 or 3, but his goal was, I'm going to sign 9 acts, and 9 only, and we're going to work those 9. And I need male vocalists, I need female vocalists, I need a duet, I need a group. That was his focus. He didn't want to just, throw the kitchen sink at everything. No, we're going to focus on 9. So Monty convinced him to come and hear the Tennessee River Boys. And we begged on a gig in Alabama opening for Jerry Clower and George Jones.
Man, I wish I'd have been at that show.
And
wow.
We called the promoter and begged and begged and begged, and he finally said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 25 minutes.
And I'm sure a giant paycheck went along with that, too.
Buddy. Well, I'll tell you, it paid us $1,000 is what he paid us.
Total.
And we went to, we had been doing those community concerts, so we had a relationship at Night Train Coach.
Oh, yeah.
So we called Night Train and said, hey, man, we got $1,000. You let us take a bus down to Alabama because we wanted to look cool.
Right, yeah.
So we handed that $1,000 to Night Train.
Right. Try doing that now, see what they give.
Oh, yeah, it'd be funny. So we go down and we got 25 minutes, and, buddy, we rehearsed that 25 minutes to the T, son. Yeah. And so we go down there and open for Jerry Clower and George. And Tim Dubois comes back to the dressing room after the show and talks to us. And he said, I see the star factor here. He said, I just see it. I hear it and I see it. And he said, I'm not going to sign you to the label right now, but I do want to get you in the studio and develop a sound and this and that. So,
and that's awesome news and heartbreaking news at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
It'd break your heart and it'd be awesome. All at the same. We're like, well, at least there's a relationship.
Yeah. Yes. I've dealt with a little bit of both of those, not quite to the level of the awesome side of it, but definitely the dangling along,
And so we go in the studio and we cut with Monty producing us, Monty Powell, and of course songs he wrote and stuff like that, and a couple of songs came off of that was on our first album. Was 2 of the songs that we recorded for that development right there. And this is way inside, but it's good stuff.
Yeah.
One of the songs was a song called Don't Make Hearts Like They Used To, which was on the first album. That was a song Monty wrote. And another song that we recorded in that first development sessions, whatever, was a song called Pretty Little Lady. And Dan Truman, piano player, and Monty was writers on it. And we played that stuff for Tim, and boy, he really liked it. And he really liked Pretty Little Lady. He said, man, that is some kind of catchy right there, man. That's really, really good. He said, but Pretty Little Lady, she needs a name.
Yeah.
She needs a name. It's too vague, man. He said, and it doesn't matter, and this is exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and it's just him and the 6 of us and Monty sitting in a room. We're talking about this stuff. He said, it doesn't matter what her name is. She just needs a name. He said, man, it could be Norma Jean Riley. It don't matter. Just anything.
Yeah.
And we said, sold.
Done. How about that?
He said, and that's free of charge.
I was going to say, a word for a third. You got to be careful there.
No. He said that's free of charge.
Well, you're sitting there talking about that, and I'm like, I don't remember that one on that record. What is it? And then you said that. I'm like, oh, of course.
That's what he said.
How about that?
That's exactly how that happened.
Man.
And so we changed when we cut for the album, we changed the lyric from Pretty Little Lady to Norma Jean Riley.
Yeah.
And it went on to become the most played song of 1992.
I remember it well, man. The harmonies on that one. And so there began the long, illustrious career of the Tennessee River Boys.
Which I might add, before we come out with that first album, they did not want us to be the Tennessee River Boys.
Mm-hmm.
They said, hey, man, we got to come with a different name. So we started. It finally got to the point where they were about to release our first single, Meet in the Middle.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a name.
Wow, how about that?
So our manager at the time, he locked us in a room. He said, we ain't coming out till we come out with a name.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came out with a name, and we were sold on it. We are going to be the T-Town Mavericks.
T-Town Mavericks.
And we had 8x10s printed up with T-Town Mavericks on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent that to the label, this is who we are. And they said, we don't like it. It's out.
Now what are you going to do?
And we had 1,000 pictures with T-Town Mavericks on it.
I want one of those.
We played our first, we were still doing community concerts, and we went to one of the schools that we were playing and went into the crafts room of some sort and found a paper cutter and chopped off the bottom of them.
You did. It kept the picture.
Yeah, and sold them. Because we couldn't afford another 1,000 pictures. We were broke as convicts, buddy. Are you kidding?
So somewhere in the trash can, somewhere in the
somewhere
past,
there's 1,000 T-Town Mavericks cut off.
Wow.
So then we came with, we knew that we liked the word diamond.
Yeah.
We thought that sounded really aggressive and all that. So eventually we came with Brian, our drummer, had heard of Diamond Rio. We had thought about Diamond Back.
Yeah.
But Diamond Rio, he was buddies with Shenandoah guys. And Shenandoah, they had the name Diamond Rio, and they used it for their corporate name.
Oh, wow.
They didn't use it for their public, but, if they signed into hotels or they did any business, it was under Diamond Rio Inc. Wow. And so we called them. We really liked that name. So we called them, and they said, man, take it if you love it, take it, man. We can do anything for that.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And
how about that?
We've been Diamond Rio and ever since.
Well, let me tell you, as you know, man, that Meet in the Middle, I remember that summer. And I was in high school maybe, and you couldn't turn around and that thing wasn't playing somewhere.
Yeah, it was.
And, of course, great song, harmonies, unbelievable. But what a testament to what Dubois and those guys did at Arista. I mean, what a machine that was, man. Well, Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, you guys didn't the Mavericks end up coming out of Arista?
No, Exile.
Yeah.
Pam
there was
Leroy Parnell.
Oh, I love Leroy Parnell, man. Love Without Mercy.
Just
what a era.
Steve Wariner.
I think all the time how blessed I was to be in that. You know the deal when you're at that age and you just turn the radio up in your car and you're jamming all the time. And those were the songs that were coming through. And I'm so glad, man, because that was a good time in country
let me
music.
just to do with this show and everything, let me just say that, all my life, from actually almost a kid up, my prayer was I wanted to make a living in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time I thought I want to be a studio musician. That's all I want to do is be a studio musician. I did not want to be a studio musician.
You figured that out,
huh? But I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
But after I started getting on the road, which I went with, my first job on the road I was 18. And I always had, my prayer was, I wanted to be able to make a living playing music with a bunch of, with guys that was not a bunch of drunks and was not a bunch of drug heads and all that kind of stuff, because I wasn't about any of that.
Right.
I'm 63 years old. I've never had one sip of any kind of alcohol.
Wow. To go through I can't even, that's...
To go through, you know, because, I mean, man, just, no need in going through all that, but, so it was something that was very important to me. And I was raised in First Baptist Church my whole life, and I was saved when I was 7 years old, and about 3 years ago I went and rededicated and was baptized again.
Oh, that's awesome.
To make sure.
The old double dip.
I want to make sure she took.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's always been extremely important to me.
Yeah.
And I feel I have been blessed my whole adult life with that, because I never wanted huge fame. I never wanted filthy rich. That wasn't. I wanted to make a good living playing music, and be content and happy with good people. And you know what? You hear all your life, be careful what you pray for, because, brother, that's exactly what I've had.
Yes.
I have been so incredibly blessed. This band, Diamond Rio, has been so blessed over the years, man. We're 34 years into having records. And now, yeah, we're not the current hot guys no more. We're not on the radio no more and all that good stuff. I understand all that.
Yeah.
Haven't been for several years. But you know what? We're still out there playing 80, 90 dates a year, which is more than I want to do at my age.
Right, yeah.
And I couldn't feel more thankful, grateful, whatever the differences are in those words.
Right.
I couldn't feel more, and I truly, in my heart, I feel it's a testament to prayer here, man. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. It's just been a real blessing for me. Of course, there's been trials along the way. I mean, if you're breathing, there's trials.
That's right.
So,
well, that's when he's working on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so,
man, you make this easy on me. I don't even have to ask any questions. I did have one note that I noticed. You guys, obviously, at the end of the day, we're told to not try to store up earthly treasures. What good are they, right? So you guys have, swept through the CMAs and ACMs and stuff like that. But I thought it was so interesting that tell me if I'm wrong on this, that there's one Grammy to the...
One Grammy, ain't that interesting?
Isn't that interesting?
We had 15 nominations.
Yeah.
Grammy nominations, but one won. And
I feel like good. Almost like I'm glad it didn't happen until this point, because it was for... not gospel, that's not the right word for it, but it's a Christian country, bluegrass, whatever it might be, The Reason.
Yeah, we did our only after we were let go from Arista, which we were there 15 years. We decided to go in, and we wanted to record a Christmas record that we'd never been able to do, so we did that. And then kind of got a knock on the door from Word label, I don't know how you really say that. The label Word or
the Word. The Word.
That was the label name is Word.
Word Music.
Yeah, and so they called and was interested in maybe signing us, so they did, and they took our Christmas record and put that out, and then we did a Christian record for them, which I'll be honest with you, I don't know that we'd ever even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got busy, and everybody started writing and got with Christian writers, and Marty and Jimmy wrote several things with Christian writers that all made the album. I wrote something with a couple of guys about our pastor passing away over here at First Baptist, and so everybody kind of jumped in and got to writing and everything, and we come up with an album's worth, CD's worth, whatever you want to call it, and so we recorded that for Word, and they put that out, and we started playing churches, and we started playing. We even got to play the cathedral out there in California, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
So we was on all the 100 clubs and all that kind of stuff. We got to be a part of all that stuff, which was really cool. And then I'll be if this album doesn't get nominated for a Grammy, and would you believe, bada bing, right out of the chute, it wins that Grammy.
How about that?
After all those nominations, bam.
Yeah.
We hit pay dirt with that. So, believe me, it's the one that's front and center in my trophy case.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. I just think that's so cool. I really do. Yeah. What a blessing that is. So as you move forward, like for instance, this year through the summer, you're touring. You guys are going to do different stuff. Do you guys still go play at a church or?
We haven't in a while since that CD.
Yeah.
The interesting part is we sell on the road at the table, whatever merch. It's the biggest selling.
Yeah,
and we don't even do a song off of it live.
How about that? And I think about that with, I bet you on this day, if you looked and saw how many Alan Jackson CDs were sold or whatever, on this day, I bet that his gospel album probably sells more.
Yeah, and he did like 2 of them, didn't he?
Well, I know he did the Precious Memories.
And I think he did 1 and 2 of that.
Yeah,
so.
And so anyways, just to put it into perspective, people really want that. Of course, we're talking about CDs, and I don't know if anybody wants those anymore.
That's the thing. I mean, we're looking into, we still sell them out there, but, I don't even know if just like I was saying to my son last night, I said, hey, man, you got this CD? He said, man, I ain't got no, hey, you play them.
Yeah. Hey, I deal with the same thing, man. It's I got boxes of mine at the house.
I got a whole room full of CDs, and it's, well,
yeah.
My truck, I ain't got nothing even in the truck. It won't play it.
Can you believe in the 35 years we're talking about how much stuff has changed, man? It's off the charts.
It just blows my mind. I remember Tim Dubois back in the 90s when the whole Napster thing and the file format of MP3 came out. He got worried right then.
He knew.
He saw on the horizon, hey, man, we got to do something.
Yeah.
Because this whole file format of MP3 just kind of, that was the catalyst for just absolutely killing
it changed,
CD sales.
It did, and it changed music so much all the way around. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And now, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how record labels, whatever labels are left, I don't even know how they make money.
Well, we could dive off into that and do a whole different segment.
You could, but I mean, because there's nothing that sells anymore.
No. Well, they're all involved in, touring,
the stream and the touring,
merch, and all that stuff. But yeah, it's. But I tell you what, man, going back to Dubois, and I've ended up getting to know Chris really well. We've written a bunch of songs together and stuff, and I just, they're great, man. I mean, what a powerhouse that was at that point in time.
Tim changed our lives, man, and it was. I feel it it was oh, well, it's obvious it was just meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
But such a wonderful guy and great songwriter. You know, that's another thing that people forget about Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Man, when he was signing us, he was winning CMAs for When I Call Your Name with Vince Gill because he was songwriter on it.
Yeah, you talked about Stegall too. I mean, same deal. You know,
Yeah.
like the songwriting, you know, predated the producing and stuff like that. But,
I remember Tim telling us, which I should have listened more, but I was young and knew everything, of course. But he said, "Right, boys, right." He said,
"Amen."
He said, "I know it doesn't seem like it now."
Yeah.
He told us this in 90.
Yeah.
Or 91. He said, I know it doesn't feel this way now. He said, but there's going to come a day where you're going to get sick of diesel fuel and the smell of it.
Oh, my
he
gosh,
said,
yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's interesting. So in my era, you know, on the row, I knew, you know, right. You know, I was working with Scott Simon and Blake Chansey and those guys, and they were like, right. And so I would chase after the dudes that had written the songs I grew up with, Alabama or, you know, this kind of stuff. And all along, I'm hanging out with Jamie and Dierks Bentley and, you know, all of these guys we're all pals and running around. And it's funny now looking back, I wish I would have been like, guys, let's all write together, you know, but we were out trying to get record deals and book, you know, showcases and all that stuff.
That's all you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and I look now and I look back at the ones like one that comes to mind is Ronnie Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here's Ronnie Dunn that obviously had vision because he was writing, but singing like he did.
Yeah.
But still writing.
Yeah.
And so he had that vision of, and if you look at the big, huge creative artist, that's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Vince Gill. Think about Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
These are the guys that write,
mm-hmm.
but they're also out there chasing
right.
all at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
And that's a tall order, you know.
Yeah, it is. So you guys have there's a few new faces in the band now.
We
right?
do. We had a couple of guys about 3 years ago. We had a couple of guys that retired.
Yeah.
And they were old. I used to get them all the time.
Speaking of that, and I do want to talk more about those guys, the new faces. But so Gene, so I mentioned Ramona earlier. So you know we have a mutual person that we know, Ramona Simmons, and she was trying to help me out. This would have been '99, somewhere in that ballpark.
Oh, wow.
So I want to go back to the mullets, man. You know, like that was. And now they're back, you know. So, but you guys were
for
somebody,
not me.
So here's the deal. It's my funny story. So Gene, who is one that's retired, right. He always had like super, like it was
super long.
Yeah,
Dude's
short
butt.
on the top.
I mean, it's to his butt.
It was
man.
intense.
Yeah.
Like it was. Yeah, I mean, so, but he cut it. Like right around 99, 2000 in that neck of the woods. So Ramona, now this was back when the June, what was it in the fanfare? Well, they called it fanfare back then, and they did it at the racetrack. So I go backstage with Ramona, and you guys played. Well, you came off the stage, and so I'm sitting there talking to Gene, and I didn't realize it was Gene. And so I had just come to town, and I'm just trying to just hang on to anything I can, and I go, I'll never forget, man. It's funny in my Nashville years. It's one of the most embarrassing things that's happened to me because I go, "Well, it's nice to meet you, man. Now, are you in the band playing today?" And you guys had just played, and I was behind. You know, I wasn't able to. So he goes, "Yeah, Diamond Rio," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?" And then Ramona, I remember getting red too, like, "Oh my gosh!" But he had cut all his hair off, man. He threw me off.
Man. He did look way different,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
When you go from that to this.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, it was a staple. But but anyway,
drastic.
so you guys have got some, and there's a young lady that's replaced him, I think, right?
Yeah, we've got a girl named Carson McKee, which is she's a whole 25 years old, and straight out of, actually, when she started with us, she was still trying to finish up her senior year at the University of Kentucky.
How about that?
And been playing since she was 3 years old, and just unbelievable talent. And she was one of them that, we had several that played with us when we were, because Gene's wife had gotten sick, and so he was out a year before he finally retired. And so we were going through different ones, trying to keep somebody out with us, and we kind of saw the writing on the wall. And so as we were, it's funny, we had to, girls seemed to fit the part more than a guy. Yeah. And it was like, man, we never had a girl, traveling with a girl and all that, I mean, just things change, and got to do things a little differently and all that, which we have come to find that, man, that is no problem at all. But at the time, after 30 years of just 6 old hairy boys, I mean, you just don't think about it.
I get it.
Anyway, when she came out with us, as soon as she opened her mouth, man, I knew, man, this is the girl right here, man. I mean, this is who we need. And I immediately started waving that flag big time, and then she went and got a mandolin, and immediately, because she's predominantly a fiddle player. That's what she is, and mandolin had become pretty darn important to Diamond Rio, so she got a mandolin and started woodshedding that, and she does great on that. Does just incredible fiddle player and singer, and most of all, which you will appreciate, an incredibly great hang.
Oh, well, that's 23 hours of the day,
Ain't
right?
that it?
Yeah.
Just a great hang.
Yeah.
Christian girl.
Great.
Goes right down here to Long Hollow.
Okay.
And, I mean, just all around the entire package.
That's great.
I mean, she's got the look. She takes command. She's the player, the singer, just the whole. So we love her. And then about the same time that happened with Gene, our drummer, Brian had been over it for about 5 years. He was ready.
Yeah.
And he finally just took the plunge and said, "Look, guys, I just can't."
And that's understandable too. I think a lot of people might think, "Oh, there was issues or something." It's like, no, man. You get to 60 years old, it's like, man.
Yeah, there was no issues whatsoever. I mean, Brian had done it for 30-something years,
right?
And he was just done, man.
Diesel fuel.
Yeah, he was done with the diesel fuel, and so he retired, and we had used. Because through the years, Brian had some carpal tunnel surgery, and we had to have somebody. And we had used different ones, but one of the guys that we had used was a fellow by the name of Micah Swinesburg, which was right here in our little town.
Yeah.
And, another super Christian boy that when we met him, he was playing with Jason Crabb.
Oh, wow. All right.
And so the first time he went out with us was 2011, and he was an unbelievable Diamond Rio fan. Just freakish.
Right.
Brought pictures from when he was 8 years old.
Oh, that's great.
Come to our show.
Yeah.
And all that kind of thing. And just idolized Brian Prout, just everything about him. So, buddy, when he came with us, from downbeat, it was just, man,
he knew it.
Just he knew everything. He knew all the count-offs. He knew everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even sound check with him. Just, let's go.
Yeah.
And so when he got the call to come and he was the first one we called and said, "Hey, man, you want this gig?" And he had been off the road for several years working over here at Daywind.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, man. He said, that's the only band I'll come back on the road for.
How about that? That's great.
And so he's been with us 3 years, and so is Carson, and it's a really good hang out there, and it's a really good groove going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they really put a shot in the arm of everybody. So
that's great,
you know,
man.
to have that new blood and,
yeah.
and all that. And I ain't saying one thing bad about my other partners.
I get it. Yeah.
Just, hey, man, you get new blood in there like that, that's on fire, and, you know, a feeling that we had and will fade. It fades over time.
It happens.
It can't happen. It can't help but happen.
Right.
And then to see that come back into 4 old dudes.
I think, listen,
it's a wonderful thing.
I do. I think that a lot of people don't realize that the thing that you get, like that 25-minute set that you guys did,
right?
That feeling you get because you're locked in, man, and you're nailing it, and you're doing. And even in the high school garage band kind of stuff, those feelings, boy, once you get them, man, you just chase them and chase them and chase them
again and again and again. Man.
Yeah,
come on, bring it.
It's special, and it is. It's a special moment because everything comes together.
Yeah,
so you guys, you got a bunch of shows booked this summer, and
yeah, we're out pretty much every weekend, and unless we block it off, we're out every weekend,
and we can find it. DiamondRio.com's got the tour dates.
DiamondRio.com always has the tour dates up there.
Yeah.
And all that's going on with us, which is mostly just coming to a town near you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
And do you still, just out of curiosity, you still doing the radio rehab show?
I am. I still. I do it about every week. It goes out, and it's in about 34 markets or something.
That's
like
awesome.
that. And it's just small little markets that you can find at different places.
Yeah.
Internet channels and all kinds of different things. But I just do it, and I play. I literally rehab the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, stuff me and you.
Man, I'm pretty sure I heard Marty Stewart. You interviewed Marty Stewart.
Yep.
And played one of his new records, right?
Yeah.
And man,
at the time, yeah.
I love that dude. And as soon as that, of course, it's been, I don't know, a year or two ago.
It's been a little while.
Yeah. But as soon as that telly starts going, man, I'm like, there it is. Yep. There it is.
It's just that, you know, it's fun to see guys that have stamped their music like he has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were fortunate in that with Jimmy Olander's guitar.
Oh my gosh,
stamped Rio so hard that man, you hear that guitar, that's pretty much tells you everything you need.
Nobody else can do that either.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and Marty Stewart was another one the same way, man. He with that guitar and the sound and the way
those B-benders, baby.
Yeah, just makes it just stamps your music so good, and that's definitely an asset for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, man. I mean, it's been so cool getting to know you and just sitting here, and you guys can go check out, obviously, Diamond Rio. Go check out the website and follow the tour dates and go see them out there.
Hey, man, I think this is a great thing you're doing.
Thank you so much.
I really do, man.
Thank
you. This can be a blessing to people.
Well,
man. I mean,
that's the hope.
To hear to hear the good side.
Yeah.
You know, we've got so much negative going on in our world right now. We don't need to hear no more of it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it seems like anything that we follow on media, they'll push you to one side or the other. You got to pick one. Well, then when you get on that side, you look around and you're like, well, this is a mess over here too, man, you know? Yeah. So the whole idea is to base everything off of the word.
Off of the word of God, buddy.
And, you know, you can just feel it. It's just good to sit here and have a conversation with like-minded folks who have a boss they got to follow, you know?
Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, buddy.
Simply put.
Yeah, simply put, that that's just what it's all about.
It is.
And it's good that folks will. I've done some stuff like this where I went out and interviewed guys and this and that, and it's enjoyable. But you need to do more of what you're doing here, man. We need to have more of this.
Well, depth, right?
Yeah.
Because especially in situations like this, there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans, and they probably know a lot of the stories.
Yeah.
But, man, to be able to sit here and to say, I prayed from the time I was a young person to be in a band like this and to make a living, and that's what I feel like that's inspiring more than anything. Because it would be easy for us to sit here and go, move to Nashville, chase your dreams. But in reality, what I think you and I would both agree on is pursue Jesus Christ, and he will direct your path.
What does Jesus have? What does God have in store for you?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? Your prayer is, hey, man, I'm coming to you. I'm submitting myself to you, and you lead me.
Mm-hmm.
And now, hey, man, don't get me wrong. I prayed for an overall thing, and this is what I got.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it interesting how you pray for something and the way something comes to you is full of contentness, and just life.
It is, and so many times I think about the fact that the plans that I make for myself sound good to me, but the idea that they're probably very different than the plans he has, which are what is really good for me. And it's kind of hard to get those things lined up, We're
just not able to see the whole picture.
Well, and another thing too, we're not, and we once we get there we will, but up to that point. But another thing too is everybody's path is different, 100%, and that's why I think it's so important to lean not into thine own understanding, but acknowledge Him, and He'll direct our paths. Because not, as you know, because you watched it happen, for every one Diamond Rio, there's a 1,000 that are not, and that came and they had their own mind and their own understanding of what they wanted to do. And even if you do, have success like we're talking about, you still got daily battles and struggles you got to go through just like anybody else.
Man.
But if you base your whole life and everything on this one human fleshly goal that you want to reach, and you don't get it because it wasn't what He wanted for you, I mean, now you got to deal with. So it's just so much easier to go God early, right?
I mean, I've said it for years. Just it kind of relates, but it's so hard to be a jerk. Why not just be a nice guy?
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
Life is so much easier that
so much easier to be a nice guy.
Yeah. Well said.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well said. Well, if there's one thing that I can say about you is you're not a jerk.
Oh, man.
You're a nice guy.
Sure don't want to be, man.
And I'm so thankful that you took some time out of your day to come sit down with me, and let's do it again, man. We can. There's a lot that we have left.
We
covered. So
we could sit and
we can talk about songwriting and talk about
visit this for hours.
Yeah, but
we run out of camera time.
Yeah, we do. Well, listen, man. Thank you so much, Dana. Appreciate you sitting with me.
Thank you, buddy. God bless you.
Thank
for this.
you. And guys, until I see you again next time, get out your Bible, put on your armor. God bless you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. What a guy, man. This was so much fun. Hey, listen, share this with somebody that might be a fan or that you think might need to be a fan of Fully Armed or of Diamond Rio. And you guys go check out Dana's show. And thanks again. Thanks for hanging with us. And thank you, Dana, for sitting down with me on Fully Armed. We'll catch you guys next time.